this is Lowcountry Money Talk. We are gonna start the turn of the year with a whole lot of, well, questions, answers.
Right.
Expert Phil Bloyd is here with Revolutionary Financial Group, gonna unpack all kinds of things that have been on our minds over the holidays.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you, Jessa.
Okay, Phil, so I don't know about you at home, but me personally, I have not been paying a lot of attention to what's been going on over the holiday season.
That's normal.
It's busy. You know,
Yeah,
we've got presents, we've got family, we've got all kinds of things we're doing, not necessarily looking at how we're positioned for next year.
It's good that I've been looking at it, though.
Thankfully, we have you. This is what we need.
Right.
We need you to dial us back in. I know for our viewers at home who are in retirement, you're thinking a little bit, or need to be thinking about income.
Right.
Really what to do as we head into this year. Where should we be taking income from?
Okay, so Jess, I think the volatility continues, unfortunately, into the new year. So it would be a great time, you know, if you're taking income out, would be to step back, do a little bit more planning than just saying, well, when I need it, I'll just take this much from my IRA or this much from here or there. So let's do a little bit more of an income plan and spend a little time on it, maybe for a New Year's resolution.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Having a plan. I plan to have a plan. That is the plan.
Put it in the book. You
Yeah.
know, the other thing is if you write things down, you'll do them.
That's a very good point.
Right. So even myself, you know, I'm a yellow pad person. So I'm like a T-Rex, old school type dinosaur. But I like to put things, you know, now we have our phone and we have our notepad, but I still like to just write out like 5 or 10 things and have them, and I just like, there's something about an accomplishment when you can put a line.
I do like a list, boy, check things
Oh,
off.
got it done.
You ever
Scratch
put it
off.
on even after you did it because you want to be able to check it off?
Yeah.
I do that
I like it.
sometimes. Okay, so let's talk about
got
income.
that done.
How can we check the money plan? off
That's
of
more
our
important.
list? Yeah.
So in our previous shows, a lot of times we talk about the money bucket. So we have the capital gains bucket, we have the IRA bucket, and then we have maybe our Roth IRA bucket.
Okay. Yep.
So all of those will be taxed at different rates. So I would like to see your tax return. That's kind of like your scorecard.
Okay, yeah.
So I can see what you've been doing.
Right.
And the first thing I would like to do is see if we can save some money on some taxes based upon how you're taking your income.
That is so smart to really look at that. But it's something that has been a little bit, I don't know, not on my mind. And you always bring us back to savings. It's not just about growth, it's about savings.
Let's say I'm a retiree, Jessa, and I need $2,000 a month out of either my capital gains bucket, my IRA bucket, or my Roth IRA bucket. And currently, I have no plan. I'm just taking as I need or whatever, and I'm going to pay full taxes on that. What if we could say, well, I'm still getting the same $24,000, but maybe only $12,000 of it's taxable. Depending on your bracket, you know, it could save you a whole month's income.
Wow.
So let's look at
That's
creating more months of income
Right.
by saving in taxes. Another one would be fees and expenses.
Ah, yeah.
What if we could save another month or two?
Can you imagine that if you have a whole quarter's worth of income saved by looking at fees, expenses, and taxes alone?
Well, where's that money going to be? It's still going to be then in your investment account because I didn't take it out.
Right.
So what's the return on the investment over 5 years because I didn't need to take that money out?
Right.
And then how many months of income will that generate?
Right, and then you're looking at more growth. So that
More
savings
growth.
leads to growth.
More months income.
Wow, you really put this all together for us so nicely. Another way our viewers can get an opportunity to really look at this in a nice way is looking at a booklet that you have on the website. And it's a great way to just download a little reading material to kind of get your head around the way that folks at Revolutionary Financial, Phil, and y'all are looking at things. Because the question is what? People ask you all the time.
Will my money last for the rest of my life?
Yes, that's the question we all have, right? So there's a free booklet. You can go to revolutionaryfinancial.com and download this and just kind of take a look, get you started.
Yeah, get them going.
We just got you going on our very first segment of the show. We've got more coming your way after this. This is Lowcountry Money Talk. If you're just tuning in, we've got Phil Bloyd, who has come on back to help us out with all of the things that are on our mind when it comes to money.
Yes,
nice to see
income.
Income.
Gotta have income.
You gotta have income.
Pay the bills.
Let's pay those bills, and
Yeah.
let's talk about how to do it and how to best do it.
Okay.
So in our first segment, Phil unpacked a little bit about the buckets and buckets of income. And one of the things I know folks are wondering about is, especially if you're in retirement, of course, is, have you saved enough to last? Can you maintain your standard of living? Obviously, we know with inflation and things, that's a question people are having.
Sure.
And of course, how to take income. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is Social Security, and a little bit about how this really ties into the whole income picture, when to take it. It's a little counterintuitive for me, but we've talked about this. I want to unpack it a little bit more. So Social Security, how does it tie in?
So let's take a look at that, Jessa. First of all, the parent Social Security. So when I started 30 years ago, a person would retire after working their whole life in a factory. They would be 65 years old. They would draw a few months of Social Security, then they would die. That was the normal thing. Usually it would be the male of the spouse, right? Okay. Changed a lot now. Now people retire earlier, they're taking their Social Security longer, they're living longer than they did in the past. We don't have as many workers. So back there, when the father retired, you had about probably 10 people working and paying into FICA Social Security to support that one person.
Okay.
Now we have less than 3 people for every one retiree.
Wow.
So let's see, you're working, I'm working, the staff's working. So, if we take 3 people, we have 1 retiree to support.
Okay.
Maybe it's less than that now. That's before we couldn't get anybody to work. There's 11 million people out of work.
Yeah.
So maybe it's 2 to 1.
Good point.
Or 1.5 to 1.
Anyway, it's a lot less than it used to be.
So our viewers are really tickled to death that you and I are still working. We can pay into their Social Security.
There we go. Yes, right.
Because
we're here for you.
There's no lockbox. There's no trust. I mean, they're taking money out of our paycheck to pay retirees.
Yes.
So a lot of people say, okay, I need income. I'm over 62. I don't want to take my Social Security until I'm 70. And I'm like, okay, how old are you now? I said over 62, 65. Okay, are you sure you're going to live to 70? Can you write it down?
Oh boy, I don't know if anyone can be sure.
Do you travel Fording Island Road or 278, 170? You don't know.
You just don't
So
know.
that could be a flawed strategy, because if you die before 70, I mean, you're not getting your Social Security because you're gone. You only get one shot at that.
You do.
So the other thing would be, I need money. I'm going to take it out of my IRA, and I'm going to wait to draw my Social Security until I'm 70. Wait a minute. So if I take money out of my IRA, how much is that tax? How much of that money is taxable? 100%.
All of it.
All of it. I like that better.
All of it.
Okay, so all of it's
whole
taxable. If I were taking a Social Security check, up to 85% of it could be taxable, but it depends on your income and your provisional income. So maybe none of it's taxable, but still not all of it.
But not all, right.
Okay, so if I'm taking money out of my IRA to supplement my income, and I'm delaying taking money out of my Social Security, if I die, I have a spouse, we both die, how much of our Social Security income do the children get?
None. Zero.
None. All of it, none of it.
Right.
I like it. Okay, so they get none of it. But if I were taking Social Security instead, and I wasn't taking money out of my IRA, and I died, my spouse died, how much will my children get?
They're going to get All of it.
All of it again. So why am I waiting to take my Social Security? Well, because I get more later. Yeah, but you're missing payments.
Right.
You know, it could take you 12 to 14 years to break even.
Right.
So if you're thinking 70, heck, you could be, if you started taking it at 67, you know, add 12 to 14 years to that. That's your break even point.
How
That's
much
puts you in
money
your 80s.
You've missed.
Yes.
I never thought about it that way, and I just think it is so smart.
Yeah.
It's funny how that is just not intuitive. But okay, so let's talk more about intuition, because this stuff isn't intuitive for a lot of us, and that's why we need an expert. What they're going to do at Revolutionary Financial, what you're going to do, what the team is going to do, is offer you a revolutionary income analysis. So this is the kinds of stuff that's on your mind, these questions. There's no obligation. It's totally complimentary service that you do. They ask that you have $500,000 in investable assets to take advantage of the revolutionary income analysis. All you got to do, though, is call Rachel. So just pick up the phone. She'll make sure you are prepared to do this. I think it's a great thing to look at.
I love it. It'll show you how long your money will last.
Yeah, the big question, okay? We have more big questions we're going to tackle after this. Stick with us. You're here, you're back. This is Lowcountry Money Talk. We're glad to see you on the other side of this break, and we're going to talk about, well, money. We always talk money, right,
That's
Phil?
the name of the show.
That's the name of the show. We're going to talk a little bit about being in retirement and whether or not your investments are appropriate for a long, happy retirement.
Yes.
I think for a lot of people, Phil, happy really has to do with not having to worry about this stuff,
I like it.
right?
Yes.
So how can we not worry about this stuff?
Well, the easy way to figure if your investments are appropriate for your risk tolerance would be to go back to what you just said. Are you happy?
Are you happy?
If you're not, maybe there's a problem.
If you're worrying,
Yes.
okay.
You know, so let's talk about that a bit. So, if we have I've seen people that come to me. They could be 70, 80 years old, and maybe they have 70% in equities.
That's not the right retirement math.
I would
Right?
not do that.
Okay, I've learned from you. I know
Right.
that's not the right. So how much of
I would
our
say
assets?
they're not happy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that they're worrying, or maybe they're not, but maybe they should be, because that's too much. Okay,
Yeah.
so how do we position this? How much should we have in equities?
Okay, so we go back to that rule of 100. It never fails. You know, people laugh at it when you have a 10-year bull market run. Okay, but that's when you're supposed to fix your roof, and all this is before the hurricane hits. I think Jamie Dimon said, the president of Chase Bank, JP Morgan, he said there's a financial hurricane coming.
Yes.
He used that term.
I think that's a great term.
We know what hurricanes are here.
We know what that means.
So it would make sense that we take some preparation for that hurricane.
Right.
So the first thing we do is we make sure, one, if we're not retired, we should be kind of pulling back on that risk. We're still working, we're contributing to a 401k, we have dollar cost averaging going. So the market's down today, I'm buying, I have a paycheck today. So some of my money is going to investing, that's a dollar cost averaging. But the problem is, Jessa, as I get older and closer to retirement, and I'm doing that dollar cost averaging, my retirement or my planned balance may be, let's say, $500,000.
Okay.
Okay, maybe I only have $1,500 a paycheck going in to the dollar cost averaging. So I'm buying some low.
Okay.
But what's at risk? The $500,000.
The rest, right.
So if we have a market correction, which normally could be 35 to 40% on the S&P index, this 500,000 could go down 200,000, and I'm ready to retire now.
Oof,
well, the dollar
bad
cost
timing.
averaging
Bad
isn't
timing.
helping me on the big nest egg.
Right.
So I have to be very focused and very careful with the big part of my 401k as I get closer to retirement. And sometimes just picking that retire at 2025 or what's that in?
Right.
Can you tell me? What do I own? I want to retire at 2025. Okay, what stocks are in there? What bonds are in there? What's driving that thing?
I'm getting nervous
So
over here.
We don't
don't know.
So one thing we want to know is what we own. So when you come in and we take a look and we do an analysis, we do the Revolutionary Wealth review, we're able to say, oh, this is what you own. We unwrap that stuff. And I'm like, there's your problem.
Right.
But you're not going to know because you don't know what's in there.
We don't know what's in there. I know you're asking me questions. I was thinking, I actually don't know.
Don't ask me.
So yes, I was getting nervous. Here's one thing I do know though. You have a 6-page booklet. I wanted to tell people how long it was so you don't, this is easy. It's 6 pages. It's
Easy to
free.
read.
You can go to revolutionaryfinancial.com to download this booklet. It's Phil's free booklet. And get some great information.
Absolutely.
We have more great information on the show. One more to go, Phil.
All right.
We'll be back. Nice to see you back here.
Yes.
This is Lowcountry Money Talk. This is Phil Bloyd with Revolutionary Financial Group, and we have a present for you because we're literally going to take this information, we're going to wrap it up, we're going to put a bow on it, and then we're going to send you to think. Okay? We've talked a lot in this episode about some of the questions that I'm sure are on people's minds who are in retirement, talking about how to take income, of course, will you have enough of it, and where to take it from. And those questions all come to mind because of such market volatility and a little bit about how to manage that based on your age. So with all of these things into consideration, of course, and the things we've been talking about today, your firm handles these things in such a different way. And I want to talk a little bit about that to kind of wrap things up. One of the things that might clue our viewers in is that I said your firm.
Yes. So basically, we have the freedom at Revolutionary Financial Group to look at the client situation, to make recommendations without a big box firm saying, well, here's your, here's what you can recommend and here's what you can't.
Right.
So if you are my client, I'm like, Jessa, okay, let's look into these things. These are the things. In the past, when I was in upper management and different things, we didn't have that freedom. It's like, no, this is what the company allows, So one company, I see this all the time. People come to me and they're like, I see the same name mutual fund here. I'm like, you mean that this firm or this company has the best large cap growth, small cap growth, mid cap growth, emerging markets, all of their mutual funds are the best in category?
Right.
Probably not.
That doesn't sound likely.
So, the freedom of being independent, it's a big thing. It makes a big difference for clients because it's what we sit down together and we don't have the third person in the room, which would be that big name company setting here. Now, we do have custodians that hold your money that you would be familiar with their names, but they only clear the stocks and hold your assets.
They're not managing your guidelines.
They don't manage it.
No, right.
So they clear the trades for us and all this kind of stuff, but they have no chair in the room or no seat at the table when you and I are deciding, this is what I think, what do you think? Give me some input. Based upon what you told me, Jessa, this is kind of what I think we should do here. And then we look at, okay, well, fiduciary, we're not going to charge commissions on that. So, on our fiduciary business, we charge a fee based upon how much assets we're managing, okay? So we're partners there.
Right.
So my number one goal is to get your account here as large as possible. Why?
Because you're not getting a paycheck from another big company.
That's right.
Your clients are, their success is your success.
Right.
And that feels good as a client.
So my number one goal is to make this account as much as possible. In a down market, we want to lose as little or if any as possible.
Okay. I think that's what we all want to do, but knowing that we don't have to work within the confines of another company, another organization, another person's rules is very freeing.
Yeah.
So that's an important thing. And you're local.
Yes.
You are here.
Right.
You are fiduciary. This is a great business with a group of great folks, a family-owned
Well, another
business.
thing, you know, we have a huge team.
Yeah, you do.
7 people on the team. If I work for a big box firm or something, I have in the past, I've been independent since 1998, but in the past, you know, you would have a bullpen of advisors, you know, and they're splitting a staff of 4.
Right. Ooh.
How are they going to service all of these clients?
Right. Right.
We have a staff of 7
Right.
just to serve you and our clients, and guess what? We don't have to share them.
You don't have to share them. I want to make sure we squeeze this in before we head out. If you've been watching the show and you're thinking about, you know what, maybe I need to have somebody take a good hard look at this, and maybe you'd like Phil and his team to take a look at what you have in your picture, they have a revolutionary wealth review. This is free. There is no obligation. The ask, of course, is that you call Rachel and you have $500,000 in investable assets. She'll walk you through what to do, but you have nothing to lose. In fact, you have everything to gain.
Now's a great time. Beginning of the year, all of that good stuff started out right.
New Year's resolutions. I like it. And hopefully your New Year's resolution is to join us here on Lowcountry Money Talk every time, because gosh, I learn a lot from you, Phil. Thank you.
I enjoy it.
I
Thank
do
you.
too. We'll see you next time.